JRPGs have been at the heart of the PlayStation 4's library, and while we are going into the twilight years of the console's lifecycle, JRPGs are still looking to be a core part of the games that are coming to the PlayStation 4. So, in this video, we're going to be taking a look at 10 upcoming Japanese RPGs for the PlayStation 4. These are not coming to the PlayStation 5, obviously playable on the PlayStation 5, but they're not built for the PS5, so you won't be seeing a Final Fantasy 16 on here, you won't be seeing an FF7 Remake Intergrade. These are games that are still perfectly playable on your PlayStation 4, so let's get right into it. Starting things off, we have NieR Replicant version 1.224744871139. Now, NieR Automata made a gigantic impact on the PlayStation 4, I think more so than a lot of people were expecting. That game came out in 2017, and Platinum Games did a tremendous job with the game, and it sold really well. Now we have NieR Replicant, a remake of the first NieR title that released on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Is it as good as Automata? Probably not, and people probably should go in with their expectations a little bit tamed, because if you did just only play Automata, your expectations are probably sky high. I still thought the first NieR was an excellent game with great visuals and also just awesome music. I mean, if you can take away anything from NieR in general, it's the excellent music, and NieR, the first title, had that as well. The story's interesting, and it really comes together, and it's captivating. And of course, with this version, they are going to be making a litany of upgrades, so that's going to be really nice as well. If you enjoyed Automata, probably going to be a game you're going to check out, and if you've yet to play Automata, you should probably smack yourself, go play that, and then get ready for Replicant. Or you can play Replicant first, just play both this and Automata, you're going to have a good time. Maybe that $60 price tag is going to scare some people away, but I think overall people are going to be happy with it.
I detect magic within the glowing cubes.
Okay, next up, we have Tales of Arise. Now, this is one that I am very interested in and very much have vested interest in, because I've been a Tales of fan for a long time. You're talking about me playing Tales of Symphonia, Tales of Abyss, Tales of Vesperia. I've been into the Tales of games for a long time, even going back, playing the PS1 games, you know, after they came out, but now we have Tales of Arise, and this is really an opportunity for Bandai Namco to take the franchise to the next level. Tales of has always been at a level, but it hasn't really exceeded a certain level. It's really at this stage where it's make or break for Tales of, and with Arise, they are taking a leap forward. They're looking at taking this game to the next visual level, the next gameplay level. It's a little bit of a shift, but I think that's also incredibly exciting, being built on the Unreal Engine 4. It's looking to take Tales of to that next level, and hopefully into that hierarchy with the elite JRPGs from a mainstream standpoint as well. Like, I feel like the mainstream audience, they know about Final Fantasy. They even know about Persona now. Persona has become incredibly popular, but Tales of has always been one that's just at the cusp of that tier, and I think with Tales of Arise, they have an opportunity to get there. They have to deliver a quality product, and hopefully it's out sometime at the end of this year, more likely probably early 22. Next up, we have the Caligula Effect 2. Now, the Caligula Effect 1 wasn't received incredibly well, but it was a pretty solid JRPG that those that played it ended up having a pretty good time with. I like the look of the game, and definitely, as the description would suggest, dive into a reality warping adventure from Persona scenario writer Tadashi Satomi and director Takayuki Yamanaka. A virtual doll named Regret has created the world of Ridu in order to save people from their past regrets by unknowingly imprisoning them in a simulation. However, this paradise is shaken to the core when a virtual idol breaks into Regret's virtual reality and restores a high school student's memories of the real world. I feel like that's a very interesting foundation for a JRPG, so we'll see how Caligula Effect 2 turns out. It is slated for a release on October of this year.
一方、帰宅部の前にはリグレットを崇拝する楽曲制作者オブリガードの楽師たちが立ちはだかる。なめるな。接客する。どうし さらに帰宅部の仲間たちも心の奥に壮絶な後悔を秘める。そのタブーに踏み込めるのは主人公のあなただけ。仲間たちの心。
Next up, another JRPG, a big one coming from Bandai Namco, and that is Scarlet Nexus. Scarlet Nexus kind of came together out of nowhere. It was announced, we got gameplay, and people got pretty excited for the game. This is a JRPG a lot of people are excited for. Unleash the power of the mind in a far distant future. A psionic hormone was discovered in the human brain, granting people extrasensory powers and changing the world as we know it. Just as humanity was entering this new era, deranged mutants known as others began to descend from the sky with a thirst for human brains. Highly resistant to conventional attack methods, extreme measures needed to be taken to battle the overwhelming threat and preserve humanity. Those with acute extrasensory abilities known as psionics were our chance to fight the onslaught from above. This is a game that's coming to pretty much every platform. It is an action RPG, definitely has an action-oriented gameplay style, and if you do have a PlayStation 5, if you're lucky enough, you will be getting an upgraded experience, but fully playable on the PlayStation 4 as well. This is one that I'm personally very excited for, and it should be out in 2021. Next up, a major JRPG coming from the guys over at Square Enix and Platinum Games. Babylon's Fall has been in development for quite a while. The game was originally announced all the way back in 2018, and if you know Platinum Games, you know you're getting a high-octane action-oriented game. I mean, they did a phenomenal job with NieR Automata. They've done a phenomenal job with pretty much every action game they've worked on, whether it be a Metal Gear Rising, a Bayonetta, a Vanquish, we can go on, and now Square Enix and Platinum have teamed up once again to deliver Babylon's Fall. The game is gonna have that action gameplay in spades, and it's one that we still don't know a ton about, but from what we've seen, it's looking pretty good, and I think it's gonna be one that a lot of people are gonna have interest in when it does drop. Hopefully sometime in 2021, but at this point it seems like development is progressing at a pace that maybe it'll be at a 2022 release window. Still a game that I am incredibly excited for. Okay, next up we have Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster. This is coming to the PlayStation 4, and it's a remaster of an iconic JRPG, at least one that those that played it absolutely loved it. Now, it does have an insane amount of a challenge. Now, it's a difficult game. It's not for the fan of heart, but if you are looking for a JRPG to get invested into, one that's a little bit dark, this is going to be one that's really going to be up your alley. Hopefully it's out sometime in 2021, but this is one that I could see a lot of people getting really into, especially because when it came out on the PlayStation 2, a lot of people liked it, but maybe at that point, SMT wasn't at that stage where a lot more people were checking it out. I think it's at that stage where people do want to know more about SMT. They are willing to play these games even if they are showing a little bit of a learning curve, and again, aren't the easiest games in the world. I think it's going to be one that people get super invested into. Again, hopefully it's out sometime in 21.
A world that loses its power will fade into nothing. Instead, I can invite you to the world that is to come.
It's been a while since we last met, Yomi. Or should I say, demi-themed?
Demons. This place is crawling with them.
You have done very well in keeping yourself alive.
The world will fall for its sins, and everyone living will vanish. Will you tell me who you are?
Next up, we have Undernauts, a Labyrinth of Yomi. This one kind of came together out of nowhere, being published by Axis Games. They will be releasing the experience-developed dungeon RPG Undernauts, a Labyrinth of Yomi. It's set in Tokyo, 1979, when a massive mysterious structure suddenly rises from the ground. The government sends a team to investigate. You have been selected to join an elite group of underground explorers employed by Cassandra Company. Unfortunately, you are not the only one searching these caverns. Terrifying monsters lurk in the shadows, dangerous criminals, and everything in between. It's going to be a game that there's going to be a level of mystery, and the ultimate test for survival is found in the labyrinth. Terrifying monsters lurk in the shadows. Criminals with mysterious powers are out to thwart your efforts. Can you be victorious and rise above the shadows? The game is scheduled for a release this fall, so hopefully that stays intact, but definitely another title to keep your eyes on. Okay, next up we have a game that I'm super excited for, and that is Digimon Survive. Now, I am a big Digimon fan. I know everybody loves their Pokemon, but Digimon is the franchise that I grew up with. I love Digimon Story, Cyber Sleuth, and Hacker's Memory, but now we have a Digimon game that I think is going to be really up my alley with Digimon Survive. Celebrating the 20th anniversary of the Digimon anime, Digimon Survive presents a brand new adventure set in a mysterious world with characters designed by Yuichi Yukumo and music by the much-acclaimed Tomoaki Miyoshi. Digimon Survive sees a brand new group of teenagers led by Takuma Momozuka get lost on a school camping trip, finding them transported to a strange new world of monsters and danger. Loving the art style of the game, and I think if you're a fan of tactics-based games, it's going to be something right up your alley. So happy to see Digimon make this resurgence in the video game space as well. I know that there's a new anime airing. I've heard mixed things about that, but as far as the games go, I thought the story games have been quite good, and hopefully Digimon Survive parlays that with another solid entry into the Digimon video game space.
モンスターが、行動をしていくと。で当然その相手の攻撃を、スタンさせたりすることによって相手のを封じ込める、相手の行動を封じ込めるとかそういった形で進化したになってます。今実は進化したんですけども、これ実はちゃんと UI も出るんですけど、今ちょっとまだ開発で見せられないよという形でちょっと進化ボタンみたいなのがいただいてますと。でそういった今、歩く音すけばドンドンドンって、その通りでございます。結構すげえ。で基本的に進化するごとに、エナジーを消費して、進化を継続すると。だ普通ずっと進化しているとエナジーを消費して元に戻ってしまうんですけども、ちゃんと敵の弱点についたりだとか敵にとどめ刺したりだとか、あと場合によっては今回大きな特徴として戦闘中に、仲間に話。
Next up, we have SaGa Frontier Remastered. This is coming from Square Enix, and it's out relatively soon, April 15th of 2021. The beloved 1998 RPG classic SaGa Frontier is reborn with improved graphics, additional features, and a new main character. SaGa was one of those franchises that also went a little bit under the radar, but was a mainstay back in the day, and a franchise that a lot of people are invested into. I'm not the biggest SaGa fan in the world. I haven't played all of the games, but hey, this is an opportunity for newer fans of JRPGs to see a franchise that does have a little bit of cachet to it, a little bit of buzz to it. Maybe it's not at the level of a Tales of, or even, some of the other JRPGs, but it's a game that definitely can make fans out of getting a remastered game. And a SaGa Frontier Remastered, I think, is something people could be excited about, especially because it is coming at a very budget-oriented price point at $25. That's going to make a much, much more accessible way for people to check it out instead of, going $40, $50, or God forbid, $60, $25, even on sale at some point. You can probably get it south of $15, and it's going to be, hopefully, a worthwhile pickup. And lastly, we have Atelier Mysterious Trilogy Deluxe Pack. This will be out on April 22nd. This is something that I see getting a little bit more buzz. Atelier as a franchise in general. When these games were coming out on the PlayStation 3, I remember always looking at them and being like, wow, there's no buzz really around that franchise. That has kind of completely made a 180 over the last few years, and Atelier has been getting more and more buzz as each sequential title comes out. There's been a lot of buzz with the most recent game, and now you have a Trilogy Deluxe Pack that's going to encompass 3 games and give you an opportunity to get them all on the PlayStation 4. This is another JRPG that, doesn't have the most mainstream attention in the world, but at the same time, there's quite a bit of depth to the gameplay in Atelier, and that's what shocked me the first time playing it, just because it was on my radar for a while, but I hadn't played them in depth for a long time, and now playing them, there's a lot you can do in the game, and the games are getting better and better, I think, from a budget standpoint and a presentation standpoint. It is definitely elevating itself, and this trilogy will be out on April 22nd.
「 こは不思議な絵の中の世界。おとぎ話みたいで素敵だね。新しい冒険の予感がビンビンだよ。私はネルケ、このベストバルトの担当管理官を務めています。ベストバルトを発展させることはネルケさんの夢なんですよね。じゃーん、いかがでしょう。
That's gonna conclude this video. Again, while the PlayStation 4 is in its twilight, at the same time, there are still a lot of great games coming, and JRPGs are definitely not slowing down at this stage of the game. That's gonna wrap up this one. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.